Welcome back to the podcast. Today's topic is going to be how to get started into hybrid training. So this is for people who are interested in learning more about hybrid training, and this is your guide to getting started.
Yeah, I think it's a very popular way to train right now. We love training this style, and we'll go over some of the things that we also made mistakes of when we first started hybrid training and things that you can avoid so that you can just fast track your progress and just give you a lot of structure on how to train like a hybrid athlete if you're looking to improve your conditioning and also build muscle, improve your strength at the same time. Before we hop into the podcast, if you guys are looking to win a free custom program, this month we're actually doing a giveaway where one lucky winner is going to win a free custom program. You can tell us your goals, you can tell us what you want to work on, and we will craft a program specifically tailored to you. So in order to sign up for this, I left a link in the comments in the description below. Go fill out that form. You'll enter for your chance to win. At the end of the month, like I said, one lucky winner is going to win. So after you're done listening to the podcast, head over to fitgrindformula.com, sign up for your chance to win, and you could win a free custom program.
So just to get started into this topic, let's inform everybody on what exactly hybrid training is. I know we kind of touched briefly on it, but in past episodes we've talked about it too, but this can look so different for each individual. And for us specifically, it's a combination of strength training and running. You can combine your cardio with whatever you like to do, whether that's biking, swimming, rowing, whatever it is, and then combining that with strength training.
Yeah, the hybrid training can look so different for so many people. Just have conditioning in your program, have strength training in your program. Your goal is to improve both at the same time, where traditionally a lot of people go to the gym and they'll try to get stronger and build muscle, and cardio is kind of an afterthought. Whereas in hybrid training, we're trying to not only build muscle, build strength, improve our body composition, but also improve the efficiency of our cardiovascular system through some sort of endurance training, whether that's swimming, whether that's running, like rowing, like you said. And really the combination of these two things are so powerful because it really, yes, helps you improve your performance, it helps you improve your body composition, but also takes your health, and it just takes that into consideration, where I think a lot of times people just go to the gym and health is like an afterthought, where health is at the forefront of hybrid training. We're trying to really improve our health by improving the function of our heart. And I think that's something that so many people forget. And that's one thing that I really love about this style of training is that is such a huge emphasis. And I think it really does have just like a forward mindset on that, where at the end of the day, no matter what your goal is, whether it's to lose weight, gain weight, health should be the number one goal. And I think this style of training really does well at trying to prioritize that.
Yeah, I think one reason I really enjoy training this way too is because coming from an athletic background, I'm able to, bring in some more excitement into my training. And I love strength training. And before I did strength training, actually, I was a runner. So being able to look forward to the days that I get to just run or the days that I get to just strength train is a game changer for me, because it really takes that like boring, same old, same day type of mindset.
Yeah.
And some people like that. Some people like that structure of just going in and putting their head down and doing the same thing. I like that each day is so different, and each day I can look forward to something different.
Yeah, and I think, the big misconception about training in general is that if you do cardio, you're going to burn your muscle. And yes, and we'll talk about things today specifically that you need to focus on, especially within your diet and within your strength training. That's going to help you still build muscle, but also maintain it. But you still can run and you can lift and you can build muscle. Those two things can cohabitate and they can coexist in a program. And that's exactly what we're talking about today, but you have to have structure. Yeah. But that's one thing that I think is such a big misconception, that cardio burns muscle. But really, cardio is going to make you stronger. Like, the way that I train now in this hybrid style where I lift and run, I feel stronger in my strength training sessions. I feel it's easier for me to recover from set to set. My cardiovascular system is just more efficient. And if you can be more efficient, you're going to be able to stick to rest times better. You're going to be able to get better blood flow to your muscles. So your pump is going to be better. Like, there's a lot of carryover between both of these things. On the flip side, when you're running, if you're still strength training and you're developing your legs and strengthening your legs, there is an endurance piece that when you lower that leg training volume, I do notice that my legs don't last as long on a run, or they give out a lot earlier. So they do go hand in hand. They really blend well together. But the first thing I think maybe we want to dive into is, where do you start? If you're a beginner, you're just getting into hybrid training, like, should I lift and run every day? Should I just spend some time running a lot? Like, what do I need to do? And we can kind of talk about that. Obviously, it's going to look different depending on how many days you're training a week, your tolerance, your time. But we can kind of just give general recommendations of where to start and just kind of provide some structure there.
Yeah. What I was going to say is that if you're a runner specifically, it's also going to look different. So if you're currently just running and you're trying to bring in strength training, that may look different because you may start with more running and slowly sprinkle in the strength training. Whereas if you're just strength training, you would start to slowly sprinkle in the running.
Yeah.
So I guess we could touch a little bit on both. So let's start by talking about if you're just primarily strength training and you're wanting to incorporate some running.
Yeah. So say that you're lifting anywhere from 3 to 6 times a week right now. You're going to want to start to add in a little bit of endurance training. What I would typically do is I would stick to 5 to 10 miles that first month or so, where if you currently are doing zero running, 1 mile is probably going to be pretty tough for you. Mm-hmm. Or if you have a little bit of background in running, you might be able to run a couple miles at a time. But really in the beginning, the goal is to start to build your base, and more specifically build your aerobic base. And this is one area where we really messed up when we first started hybrid training. You're excited, you're ready to go out for runs, you're ready to like just go and crush it, and you just go run as hard as you possibly can, because we have that mentality as strength training, as our strength training background of like, we got to crush every workout, we got to beat our time, we got to, we're super competitive. But running is a little different. You do want to run fast sometimes, but a lot of it needs to be slow. It needs to be lower heart rates. You need to run in places where you can still hold a conversation. It might be a little broken up or choppy of a conversation, but you want to work to the spot where you can hold a conversation, because keeping your heart rate low is going to help you build endurance. It's going to help you build your aerobic. Yeah, it's going to help you build your aerobic base. And you can talk about that point too. That is a huge point in the beginning, is the recovery aspect.
Yeah. So if you're staying in that lower heart rate zone, you're able to recover quicker so that you can run more throughout the week, as well as be fresh for those strength training workouts.
Yes. So
that was a big mistake for us that we were doing in the beginning of getting into hybrid training. And Jordan mentioned this too a little bit, but just we'd go out there and go balls to the wall, 80% every time. And that made the energy, the effort a lot more challenging. So when I came in here to do my strength training workouts, I couldn't give as much effort as I wanted to. And then that just promotes more injury, more fatigue. And so I think it's really important to drop the ego and allow yourself to just start out slow with the running side of things.
Yeah.
And, still focus on the strength training, but also on the strength training side, allow your body to understand that you're trying to do both. So there is a limit on that side too. And you can kind of go into depth on that, but the limit of doing too much in the weight room too.
Yeah. If you're trying to add running on top of everything that you're already doing your strength training, it can be done. You just have to make sure, one, and we'll talk about this a little later on the podcast too, your hydration and your nutrition needs to be in line with those goals too as well. Mm-hmm. So you can't just expect to run 10 extra miles and hydrate the same way that you did with just strength training, eat the same amount of food that you did with strength training, and still make continued progress in both muscle and endurance. So those two things we'll talk about in a second. But like you mentioned too, if you're going balls to the walls every single run, you're coming in every strength training session and you're trying to kill it, you're trying to make gains, you're trying to set PRs every single workout, which you should still focus on those things. You should still lift heavy. It just starts to add up. It starts to accumulate. And then you're going to run into these little injuries, nagging pains. And that's something that we ran into our first half marathon prep, where we were running really hard, like above 160, 170 every run. Like we were running like race day pace all the time. Mm-hmm. And we made good progress, but we also both had some injury type things where I was running into some knee pain. You were running into some knee pain. I was running into some calf and ankle pain. A Alyssa would like be able to run like a mile and then her knee would just like give out. Like it was all because we were running too hard. And lo and behold, we pulled that intensity back a little bit, tried to run at slower paces for 80% of our runs. We still did some track workouts and some higher intensity stuff once a week. Your injury went away. We started to see better progress. Our strength and weights went up. We were able to strength train heavier and just have more energy. So you're going to want to go balls to the walls every single run. I strongly urge you, 80% of the time, run at or below your max aerobic heart rate. So take 180 minus your age. That's your heart rate that 80% of the time when you're running, you want to stay below. If you don't have a watch, you can just use like if you can hold a conversation or if you can like sing parts of a song. It might be a little choppy and a little broken up. That's okay. But you should be able to somewhat like sing a song a little bit or have a conversation if you're running with somebody.
Yeah. So a couple tips to help you stay in that low heart rate is going to be something like Jordan mentioned, getting a watch or getting a chest strap to monitor those things, but also listening to music that is not going to make you want to bang your head.
I'm guilty of this hardcore. Are you speaking to me?
And like turn on these rager songs. Like there's a time and a place for that. And that typically is like sprinting or maybe race day or in the gym when you're lifting heavy weights. But when I'm going for a slow run, I'll literally turn on like a podcast or just some like Red Hot Chili Peppers, something just like super chill. And that helps bring the energy at more of like a mediocre pace.
Yeah. We ran in Colorado a couple weeks ago. I need to get some new headphones, but Alyssa was kind and she shared her headphones with me. She gave me one of the earbuds and she had some Red Hot Chili Peppers going and just some like, chill. Early 2000s chill music. And it was like, wow, this is a great run. Like, you're able to keep your heart rate low. I, on the other hand, I'm big time guilty of this. I love like super hard techno EDM music when I'm running. Like I like to run fast. I like to run hard.
So do I.
When I either turn the volume down or pick slower tempo songs, it does really help pull your pace back. Focus on breathing. You're breathing consistently. You're not trying to really get into your mouth and take big sips of air and like really start to pant. Just slow your breathing down, relax, fall into a rhythm, start slow. So a lot of times I think people, they start too fast and then their heart rate gets up and then it's really hard to bring it back down, even if you bring your pace down. So start slow, build into it. You want to try and negative split the run if you can.
Yeah.
Another thing that I wanted to touch on was with the strength training piece, one big mistake that I started to make, and this was towards the end of both of our half marathon preps, where the volume starts to add up, trying to keep the weights heavy with your strength training. Now, especially if you're training for a marathon or a half marathon, fatigue is going to start to set in and you might start to get a little weaker towards the end of it. But do everything that you can not to lighten up your weights. Make sure that you're still trying to overload with your strength training sessions. You're still trying to do your big compound movements. Maybe you reduce the volume a little bit in your strength training sessions. So by that, I mean trying to pull back a couple sets. So if you're doing like 4 sets and everything, maybe do 3 sets and everything. But still try to lift heavy because that's going to help you hold on to as much muscle and strength as possible. And if we lighten up the weights, that's a big green light for our body to say, we don't need this muscle, let's get rid of it. It's slowing us down, it's burning too many calories. Like, make sure you keep your strength training heavy. And, if you're deep into a marathon prep, there's only so much that you can do because you're going to be fatigued, like no matter what. And you're probably not going to want to train legs twice a week, really heavy, high volume. That's, to be expected. So you may lose some strength, but I think what the point I wanted to touch on, we can both talk about this, is training for your goal and training for your specific goal that you might have, whether that is for an endurance race or I want to really take some chunk of time and work on some strength training. But hybrid training can fit both, just, selecting a goal, what that looks like for you.
Yeah. And as far as, keeping up with your workouts in the gym, you want to make sure that you're doing that by fueling properly. So we can touch on that too. Like we have like a carbohydrate drink that we like to drink before we go on runs, or we'll drink it too when we go into a strength training session to make sure that we're keeping those energy levels up and that we can get through both strength training and cardio if we're doing them back to back, especially. But the idea is to split those up if you can. Now I know everybody not everybody has that advantage where they can run in the morning and lift in the afternoon, and that includes us. We don't have that advantage. So if you're doing them back to back, I would recommend that you're supplementing with something that is going to help you get through both of those workouts, keep the energy up, because I do feel that energy drop if I'm not taking a gel, taking a carbohydrate liquid drink to keep that energy and carbs flowing.
Yeah, I mean, nutrition, hydration, they're huge when you're training this style. Like, you're going to need more calories than you think. You're going to need more carbohydrates than you think, and you're going to need more electrolytes than you think. Like, you're probably going to want like 45 to 50% of your calories at least coming from carbohydrates. You're still going to want to keep your protein high, so somewhere in your body weights, and then the rest is going to come from fat, which don't think you need to go low fat. Like, you're going to be eating more calories than you think. And then also making sure that you're hydrating. So using a supplement like our Pink Starburst electrolyte, I mean, we'll do 1 to 2 scoops of that, and depending on if it's a really sweaty run, sometimes we'll do more. Like, if it's a really long run, we'll mix it in our water bottle while we're running, like our hand water bottle, just to make sure that we're hydrated, because when you're sweating and you're having muscle contractions, you're losing electrolytes through your sweat. Every time you have a muscle contraction, you're losing electrolytes. So just plain water is not going to rehydrate you enough. You're going to run into issues. Your performance is going to decrease. You're going to, maybe run into some cramping type issues as well. So, if you're looking for a great electrolyte supplement, go check out our Pink Starburst Fit Grind Electrolytes. I promise you, you're not going to regret it. I'll even leave you guys a discount code if you're interested in checking it out. It's down in the comments description below, or head over to fitgrindformula.com. But super huge thing that you can do. Just doing 1 to 2 scoops a day, especially around your runs, it's going to help you keep high performance and help you keep making progress. Because if your performance starts to suffer, you're not going to see the results that you want, and you're actually probably going to start to take some steps back. So really big thing that you can do to just make sure that you can keep coming in and training and keep getting to that next workout so you can keep making progress.
There's a lot of little things that you can add into your hybrid training programs, like the electrolyte supplement, a Garmin watch to track your heart rate and track your mileage, things like that. But there is a lot of like fancy dancy things that maybe aren't necessary.
Yeah.
So that could be another episode that we go into a deep dive on all of that. Maybe like the necessary things that you need as a hybrid athlete versus
unnecessary. That's a good topic.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think those are a couple good things to start with, and then a good pair of running shoes and socks. Those are 2 things that I know.
You got to take care of your feet.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, don't go search on the internet. What do I need to do to become a hybrid athlete? And then like you'll come up with all this list of things that you need to buy, the fanciest, most expensive things. But yeah, you just need a good old pair of running shoes and socks and a watch and some good quality supplements to get you through your running with an electrolyte.
Yeah, and just structure things. And, just the final recommendation that we'll leave you on is you typically, and it can look so different for so many people, you want to strength train anywhere from like 2 to 5 days a week, and you want to run anywhere from 2 to 5 days a week.
Yeah.
If you're working out 6 days a week, obviously you can be a little more specific with things. If you're working out twice a day, you can be a little more specific with things. I don't think that you should start with the 2-a-days. I think that's something, if you ever get up to it, that you should build up to.
Yeah.
But structure that, and like I said, if you're working out 4 days a week, maybe you run 2 and you lift 2. Or if you're working out 5 days a week, you lift 3 and you run 2. Or, hey, I want to sign up for a race. I'm going to run a little more, lift a little less. Or, hey, I really want to focus on building muscle. I'm going to lift a little more, run a little less. Really, it's a blank slate. You can do whatever you want. The main thing is just have both in your program. It's going to help you build muscle, improve your body composition. It's going to help you improve the function of your heart, build endurance, and overall this hybrid style is something that I really enjoy, and I really see the benefit, not just in performance and body composition, but also just overall health.
Yeah, and it's less of like focusing on that aesthetic look and more of a performance aspect.
Yes.
And so it's helped me personally a lot with a lot of my body dysmorphia. I'm able to focus on food as a fuel source and my workouts as something that I am enjoying, and how can I become a faster runner? How can I, do better with this squat and focusing on the mobility aspect of that so that I can have stronger hips and joints to do better in my running. So
yeah.
It's really helped me a lot in that aspect too. So.
Yeah, I agree. So if you guys have any questions on hybrid training, we love to help out any way that we can. you can leave it in the comments section below. Like I said, we'd love to help. You can reach out over social media. And if you're looking for a plan, like I said, you can sign up for a chance to win a free program. The link is in the comments in the description below, or head over to fitgrindformula.com and you can sign up for a chance to win. So
yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Thank
and we'll
you.
see you guys in the next episode.